A Russian financial watchdog responds to the U.S. Treasury's proposal to ease sanctions by confirming the export of high-profile corruption from Russia into the U.S. One America's Kristian Rouz has more on the unlikely rapprochement.
Signs of a mounting internal conflict within the Kremlin walls as a Russian federal agency officially confirms thousands of Russian officials are involved in transnational corruption, offshoring of stolen budget funds and laundering this money abroad. This comes just days after the U.S. Treasury Department signaled it could ease or lift some of its sanctions if Russia curbs its export of corruption and the Kremlin-linked organized crime.
As it relates to sanctions, we do use them as part of the foreign policy position. We've done a lot of sanctions on Russia. We did sanctions, I think you know, is on the oligarchs and on political figures. They had a very big impact.
Russia's Federal Financial Monitoring Service, known as the Rosfinmonitoring, said in a statement it found more than 3,000 officials are involved in illicit corruption practices and opened over 450 criminal cases against them. Rosfinmonitoring said it's taking action after reviewing two international anti-corruption investigations known as the Panama Papers and Paradise Papers. Russian opposition leader and head of Russia's anti-corruption foundation, Alexei Navalny, has repeatedly confirmed the findings of these reports.
Corruption in Russia not became something like, white-collar crime or something. We wanted to show this level of the degradation of Russian power. They are not just corrupt, they involved in murders, in tortures, and raiding businesses, etc., etc.
Rosfinmonitoring also said it is currently looking into more than 30,000 Russian officials whose spending and the size of overseas assets don't correlate with their salaries. The agency said these officials might also be involved in money laundering in such countries as Switzerland, the UK and the US. Rosfinmonitoring's findings come in stark contrast with previous statements from the Russian government and its affiliates, who have sought to downplay the significance of the Panama and Paradise Papers.
In this regard, there are attempts to shake us from the inside, make us more pliant and obedient. What is the easiest way to do this? It is to induce mistrust for the authorities within society. Regarding these offshore companies, your faithful servant is not there. There is nothing to speak about.
It's all run by Mossack Fonseca firm from the Panama dossier. And this is not even 10% of lies and truth. Not even 1%. This is 0%.
Skeptics say Rosfinmonitoring's findings only pertain to mid-level corrupt Russian officials, such as deputies and governors, without mentioning the dealings of top-level corrupt officials. Some say this might be the Kremlin's attempt to sacrifice part of its transnational corruption syndicate in order to win the US Treasury's favor, allowing bigger players to get under the radar of US authorities while improving the US-Russian relations. However, as One American News reported just days ago, the US Treasury's proposal to ease its Russia sanctions would spark an intense conflict between the towers of the Kremlin.
Two big parts of Russian bureaucracy. There is one part that continues to see Russia as a modern post-industrial country, substantially linked with global financial system, with global economy. Another part of Russian bureaucracy, not just slightly more militaristic.
Nonetheless, Rosfinmonitoring's findings could potentially incriminate such prominent figures as the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, secretary of the ruling party United Russia Andrei Turchak, and the notorious multi-billion cellist and Putin's friend Sergei Roldugin. Russian politics experts say Rosfinmonitoring's action might also be a response of patriotic factions of Russian officials to the rampant theft and embezzlement of Russia's national wealth, which has lasted for the past 2 decades. Meantime, Russia is bracing for a major nationwide anti-corruption strike slated for May the 5th and called by opposition leader Navalny.
These are going after Vladimir Putin's friends, his colleagues, people he's known for a very long time. And I think they're also important in that they're going after individuals, regime-connected individuals.
These developments highlight the importance of US Treasury's efforts to dismantle the transnational corruption syndicate centered around the Kremlin. This also gives hope for the long-overdue improvement in the US-Russian relations. Kristian, Rouz, One American News.
We can use your help. Call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call today.